Warm welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. How many of you excited for today's meeting? I do. This is Kolapan Sergeant Accounts. To avoid disturbance, please switch off or put your mobile on silent mode. I give you 10 seconds for doing that. You already put my phone on silent mode. To avoid distraction, move only when you hear applause. To avoid deviations, refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics. While I was doing my civil engineering, I had a paper called Design of RC Structures. Like I'm unable to save that name also. Like it is a mathematical paper comprised of long formulas. I learned formulas day before the exam and memorized it. Next day morning, I went to my friends and thought of helping them. They told, leave it, we are going to write on the calculator with the pencil. And what I thought, I don't know, now I am regretting that I also did the same. I followed their path. I take the calculator to the exam hall. My luck, I got by the invigilator within 2 minutes of entering into the exam hall. Till now I am confused why I did that. I beg and please the examiner, please give the calculator, otherwise I will fail in the exam. He refused till the last 30 minutes. Then he gave the calculator. Don't be sad, I passed in the exam. As the team explains, don't take shortcuts. It leads to unavoidable situations. Now, I am going to introducing a person who loves driving, but not in Bangalore traffic. Today, you all enjoy that traffic? No. I know many of them don't like the traffic. He told, he stole his father's car at the age of 16 and learned how to drive. He tried to learn new things in a different way. He is the youngest president of our club. Please help me in welcoming Toastmaster, president of our club, Toastmaster Shashank Bhatt.
Thank you, Kolapan, for such a wonderful introduction.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I'm really happy to see a full house today, and I'm sure we are in for a treat. We have a special meeting today, a DTM Mania, where most of the role takers on stage will be distinguished Toastmasters. I call to order meeting number 1395 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. The minutes of the previous meeting, 1394, was shared with all the members by our secretary, Toastmaster Suhas, over WhatsApp and by mail. Are there any amendments to the same? No. Not. I pass the minutes of meeting number 1394. Do you have any first-time guests amongst us here today? Can I see a show of hands? Can you please stand and introduce yourself and tell us how did you get to know about our club?
Okay, so my name is Aman Khanna. I am studying Bits Pilani. I'm a fourth year right there. And I am currently at my home Bangalore because my internship is online. So I got to know about this one from my dad. He used to go to Toastmasters back then, so he told me to try it out. So here I am.
Welcome.
Nasia. So a friend of mine called Mansi Bidhani is here, and I got to know about it through her, and I thought let me visit it now.
Thanks. Welcome. Do you have any first-time guests? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Shameen, and it's been on my bucket list to join a Toastmasters Club for a very long time. And yeah, I kept pushing it, and it happened finally, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Finally, welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Aaron and I've just come to experience the club.
Welcome. Anyone else? Yes, yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Sparshita. I'm a lawyer by qualification. I have about 10 years of experience in indirect tax working in Big Four. Currently, I've just taken a short break, and I've seen in many of the Big Fours we have a lot of these clubs coming in and speaking. I think I've never got a chance to come in here and experience how it happens. So I'm making I'm use out of my break, so I thought I'll come in and check how it's going to go.
You're in the right place.
I am a sales professional. Toastmaster is something I've been following for a while on YouTube and I've been seeing a lot of people. Again, it was on my bucket list and I wanted to be here for a very long time. Finally, go through all the traffic and take it.
Yeah, delighted to have you. Welcome. Members, please welcome our guests once again. For the benefit of the guests, Bangalore Toastmasters Club is the second oldest club in India and one of the largest clubs in India. And while we are talking about Bangalore Toastmasters Club, we just acknowledge the presence of the founder member of our club, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. Can I have a round of applause for him? All the members can meet the committee members and our VP membership, Toastmaster Jose Paul in particular, at the end of the meeting to clarify all your doubts. Right? Most of you would have seen the theme on stage written there. The other line always moves faster until you get in it. How many of you have actually experienced it? Can you see a show of hands? Where do you see it? Mostly in toll plazas. Or? Yeah, it takes a toll on us. And the shopping complex. Right? You are standing in the queue. It happens with me always. You stand in the line and then you see the other lane go faster. Once you go there, you see this lane go faster. What can you tell? Now, while you are standing in the first line, your initial line, when you see the other lane go faster, you compare yourself with that line. As you see that lane is going faster, you just take a shortcut. And most of the time, I hope you agree with me, Vijay, most of the time, the line where you choose, the second line, will be stuck there. Yes. Yes? What did I learn from this? I always have this in my mind that whichever road I take, I am stuck there in traffic. Whichever toll line I stand in, I always go late. In D-Mart or any other shopping complex where I go, if I am standing in the billing counter, I will be standing there forever. I always have this in my mind. I always think I should have gone to that line. That line moves faster always. But what if there was only one line? Do you have anything to complain? You have to accept the fact. So when it is not in your control, why crib about that? You can only bother about things which you can control. The other line, is it in your control? No, whether you are stuck. So when it is not in your control, let us not bother about that. Similarly, today, I always think I'm always late because I'm stuck in traffic. I didn't even think of anything today because I wanted to talk something positive about the theme. I was thinking only about the theme. And coincidentally and thankfully, I did not put my foot down from the time I left home till I reached the club. Probably the first time in my history it has happened like this. Because I didn't bother about the other side. Right? So when you focus more on yourself, that is where and how you can improve. What's the point in comparing yourself with others? I call this the greedy compare. If you do a greedy compare, you can never move ahead. But having said that, at Toastmasters Club, can we compare ourselves with others? Yes or no? Yes. If you compare yourself with others, in fact, when I have given 2 prepared speeches at this club, and both the times the co-speaker was DDM Rajdeep Manman. I always thought I should win this time. But did I win? Unfortunately, no. But if I compare with him, what's the use? I always compare myself with how I was the previous week. Did I improve? Yes or no? That's my answer. So learn the good things from others. Don't do greedy comparing. So if at all you have to learn something from someone here, you are in the right place. Do you agree? Yes. So let us focus on the positives. Let us focus on what we can learn from others at this Toastmasters Club. Where we have a variety of people amongst us. I am sure we will learn something new every day at this club. The next person to come on stage, again, he didn't take a shortcut. He had made up his mind. I love talking to people, I want to become a trainer. He had some negative influence around him, but he didn't take heed to that. What did he do? He kept focus, he didn't think about anything else, and from 9 years, he has not done anything other than trainings, which he loves to do. He also has his own podcast called the Lalit Dhanush Show, and he is the youngest distinguished Toastmaster of Bangalore Toastmasters Club, and in fact, one of the youngest DTMs in India as well. Please put your hands together to welcome the Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Lalit Dhanush.
You know, when I get back on the stage, quotes come to me in a flash. The one quote that's popping in my mind right now is what Michael Jordan said in 1994, August 23rd, when he returned from his premature retirement. It was the largest press conference ever held in any kind of sport. 1,400 reporters across countries were there. And he just said 2 words. He said, "I'm back." And I feel, maybe I'm not Michael Jordan, but it feels so good to say I'm back home, where I truly belong, because this is where I started my journey 9 years back, when I was just 17 and a half years old, when I walked into this club simply as a guest. Now, today's meeting is going to be fun, it's going to be enriching, and most importantly, it's going to be interactive. I want each one of you who are here to participate with me when I ask you some questions. And as incentives, I've brought you some chocolates and I have a special gift. And let's see how that will go. Now, thinking of the theme today, what's the first thought that comes to your mind when you think of the theme? The grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? Whenever we stand in line, or especially in Bangalore traffic, we think of the next lane, and right behind us there'll be one auto rickshaw or taxi driver. Nobody else. And we'll want to cut the line and go, and this guy will give us a knock. Sometimes I believe the taxi driver or the auto rickshaw is reality in itself. And that knock is very essential, especially when we compare ourselves to somebody else's progress. Now let me tell you one thing. When you compare yourself and you're in that constant loop, let me give you a hack as to what you could use to get out of that instantly. Number 1, remember that the house that you were born in is not the same house that the other person was born in, until unless it's your sibling. Second, the circumstances, the patterns of life, and most importantly, the basic pattern, which is your DNA pattern, is not the same with the other individual. How can you even compare? Now, if you still think that's a problem, then don't worry. As you adult, you will stop comparing yourself and you'll start comparing your children. That's usually the trend. I remember once when my father was comparing me to, everybody around him, and he was asking me, he's getting so much marks. My mom was the predominant one, but when my dad was doing it, I asked my dad one question. Okay, that guy got 65% and I got 56. Do you also know that his dad has a BMW car and you don't have one? My dad was taken aback a little. Sometimes comparison gets toxic, not only when you compare yourself, but when somebody else compares you. That's when you realize that there's a lot of change that should happen. Let me give you a small little example of the theme today. I was at Universal Studios, Singapore, a year back with my parents. It was the first international trip. And how many people to Universal Studios here? Fantastic. Now you can give me the acknowledgement of what I'm going to say. In Universal Studios, every roller coaster ride or every major ride has 2 lines. There's a VIP section and there's a normal section. Typical Indian style, we bring to the normal section. Standing there, we realized all these Americans, Britishers, all of these people who had the money to splurge were standing in the VIP section, and they were, moving very quickly. All of a sudden, the nastiest roller coaster decided to take a pause right in between the ride. Guess what the people who were stuck in the roller coaster ride had to do? lollygag. Right? At the end of it, all the Indians standing in the same line were looking at each other and saying, thank God we didn't buy the VIP pass. Sometimes it's okay if you don't take the VIP lane. It's not only for very important people, but very important problems follow those people as well. So you must understand that your lane is your lane. And you know, when you understand that, let's say you start comparing yourself to every neighbor, every friend, every person who's progressing in life. You keep comparing them only with the good things. Start comparing them with the problems that you have and don't have. Try that next time. Oh, his wife divorced him. Will mine too? Oh, I'm happy. Yeah? Oh, he had a loss of 5 crores in his business. Can I have that too? And after you start comparing all the negatives with somebody else's life, you know where you want to be? Exactly where you are right now. Exactly where you are right now. Often in life, we compare ourselves to the things that we only want, but we don't compare ourselves to the things that we don't want. But in Toastmasters, the best part about this place is that it pushes you to compare yourself to who you really are. When you compare yourself to who you really are, every day becomes a progress. Every day becomes a day of learning. And take it from me, that I can assure you that my progress in life, if I could put all the credit into one place and gift it to somebody with gratitude, it would be to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. No other place on planet Earth. First of all, I'd like to thank every single member who's building this ecosystem. Whether you've done one speech or 500 speeches, it doesn't matter. Can we have a huge round of applause for every single member in this club? Every single drop makes the tiny drop as big as the massive ocean. And I believe no matter how significant your contribution to this club is, or your journey is, your contribution to somebody else, creating this environment just by sitting down and listening to them and being the audience is the highest level of contribution. Whether you give feedback or not doesn't matter. Whether you're going to come on stage and mesmerize the crowd doesn't matter. But if you're sitting down here, giving your 2 eyes and 2 ears, and giving your heart out to listen to them, whether you're critiquing them or not doesn't matter. That's the highest level of contribution you could do as a Toastmaster. And trust me, today I stand proud to say that my very company that I run, More Than Textbook, is on the foundation principles of Toastmasters. I also can boast about the young generation who's 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, who are aspiring content creators, that my content creation journey also started with Toastmasters. And today I have close to about 60,000 followers on social media. Again, why? Because my fundamentals were built here. When you ask what's the fundamental, it's coming here time and again, every single week and going wrong. Because in life, you don't get an opportunity to go wrong. Everywhere you're critiqued, you're compared, but in Toastmasters, you're not. That ecosystem has a structure. Every Toastmasters meeting has a structure, a standard structure where no matter which country you go to, this structure is followed. Now, rather than me telling you what the structure of the meeting is, I'd request any member to stand up and tell me what that structure is, and I'll give you a chocolate. If you can, do it in 1 minute. Anybody?
Table topics and evaluation.
Okay. Okay, if somebody can explain what those 3 things are and from the beginning. Yes, okay, stand up, yes.
Chocolate.
Only rapper.
Prepared speeches is where the speaker is preparing for his speech and going on stage. The second one is table topic, where you just go on stage and you're given a topic on spot. And the last one is evaluation, where you're given feedback about how you spoke and what are the things that you did.
Fantastic. Somebody actually don't need it to be over. Okay. Quick pop-up quiz. How many countries has a Toastmasters Club in it?
116.
116. Can you also, DTM Vijayanand has been here since the time I was born, but anyway, I'll ask you a few more questions. Not him, any new member in the house? Any 1 meeting, 2 meetings, 3 meeting old members? 5 meetings? Okay. 2 meetings. 5 meetings in this month. Tell me who's the founder of Toastmasters. No, anybody, any new member can tell me? All these old people who can't eat chocolate are raising their hands. Ralsei Smedley, fantastic. I'm not giving him the chocolate, I just wanted the answer. If not, I want to chew me out. What do you think is the biggest credential of Toastmasters? And this is something I always do when I'm TOD. Toastmasters hosts the World Championship of Public Speaking. I always say it's whatever ICC is to cricket, Toastmasters is to public speaking. Right? When you think about Toastmasters, also know that if you are somebody who's not confident, who fear coming on stage, then this place is for you. This place is not for confident speakers. If you are here and you're a confident speaker, please don't join. There's another place that's called TEDx. Go there, give a speech. But if you want to become better, this is the place to be. Right? On that note, with what my dear friend said about prepared speeches, a prepared speech session is simply a guideline-based speech which is done anywhere between 7 to, we could say 15 to 20 minutes, where a speaker is given a set of guidelines based on his pathways and his level. In this specific area, the speaker will be attempting with a certain set of guidelines which the evaluator will read out. And today, to introduce all of these people, I have prepared something which rings a little bit of nostalgia. How many of you played the game Name, Place, Animal, Thing? For the ones who haven't, I'm praying for your childhood. Right? But if you have, then this can ring a bell, right? So today I have with me a great set of people who are going to assist the general evaluator and myself. They're called the tag team. So I will quickly ask them to spin out their roles within 30 seconds. Can you do that? Yeah.
Good evening. As the time of today, it's my duty to record the entire duration of the meeting. For prepared speakers, it's typically 5 to 7 minutes. And at 5, I will show the green card. 6, the yellow, and 7, the red card. And the table topic session for today is for 1.5 minutes. So at 30 seconds, it is the green card. At 1 minute, yellow, and 1.5 red. I will present the report to the general evaluator at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, if you continue speaking after the red, please throw tomatoes at. Can we have the grammarians for our questions?
Hi everyone, I am your grammarian for today, and my role as a grammarian is to pay attention to the good and not so good usages of English and provide my report at the end of the meeting. Now, introducing the word of the day, it's lollygag. That funny sounding word means to spend time aimlessly. To explain a usage in English, an example, the high school students like to lollygag in the central square. Do try to incorporate this word in your speeches here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, grammarian. Round of applause, please. The R counter.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. What is it? Sorry. My name is Sharma. I am the person who is in charge of our counter today. So my responsibility is to catch all those crutch words, which the person will be presenting on the stage today. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the first segment of today's meeting?
Yes.
You sound like my grandpa's burp. Irritating and still mellow. A little more louder. Bangalore Toastmasters, are you ready for the prepared speech session?
Yes.
That's it. Now, let me introduce to you the first speaker of today. And like I said, I decided to go nostalgia and do name, place, animal, thing. These are the 4 ways that I'm going to introduce the speaker, but with a little bit of a twist. So the first question is with name, if you had to call yourself another name for 24 hours, what would that name be?
PM Narendra Modi.
Oh, thanks for the answer, but I think our speaker gave a better answer. Our speaker said Hrithik Roshan and Superman. Gave me 2 options. Then I asked him, which country matches your vibe? Take a guess. And if you take a guess of what city he said, I'll give you a chocolate right now. Kamlesh is already cheating.
Sao Paulo.
Huh?
Rio.
Rio.
Bali.
Bali. No. Bangalore. No. Amsterdam. No. Damn. You need a damn after I tell you the answer. You know what that is?
Amsterdam.
No. It's Chennai. Guess why?
My favorite city.
No. Because Chennai and him are too hot. Oh. I think I need a chocolate for myself. I asked him, name an animal that's the exact opposite of your personality. Now try guessing this. An animal that's exactly opposite of his personality, and you already know who it is. Liger.
It's hippo.
Hippo. Come on, guys. No. He said it's a fox. Fox. Yeah, opposite of his personality. Okay. Last question. Name that one item or thing that you might find on a Monopoly or any game board which is used as a pawn. What would you represent yourself as? He said rocket. If you guess the answer for this, I'll give you all the chocolates at once. I'm playing poker. No, he said rocket. The answer is rocket. Tell me why. No. Oh, I like that answer. I still won't give you the chocolate. He speaks fast. No. He likes getting height. No.
He's always about to take off.
Take off. No.
He's taken off.
He's taken off. My God. Now that's. So he said, a rocket never works until its tail is on fire. Now, before I introduce this person quickly, can I have the evaluator of the first speaker, Sudipto Ghosh, to read out the guidelines?
So this project is about writing a speech with purpose. The guideline calls for reviewing the basic method for writing a speech and writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Sudipto. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome our first speaker, one of my mentors at Bangalore Toastmasters Club, one of the best speakers to grace this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together to DTM Rajdeep Manwani. Rajdeep sir's speech is titled Fly the Rocket. No, I'm kidding. Quit beating around the bush. Quit beating around the bush, Dr. Rajdeep Manwani.
William Henry Harrison was elected the President of the United States of America in 1841 March. And he has a dubious distinction. The dubious distinction is that he had the shortest presidency in the history of the USA for only 32 days. But there is one more thing which distinguishes him from all other presidents. He gave the longest presidential inaugural address of 2 hours, 2 minutes. And do you know, that was the reason why he was only alive for 32 days before he died. He spoke in the cold of February and March, and he got so wet that he had pneumonia and he killed himself through pneumonia. He is the only person who talked himself to death by speaking so long. William Henry Harrison killed himself to death because he spoke so long. But what about other speakers who speak so long that you feel so bored that you feel like dying? And I think that's the reason why so many speeches fail. I remember an incident that my grandfather used to tell me. When he came to Chhattisgarh, where he lived in a village near Raipur, he said there was a man called Ramnath who was a dairy farmer who used to stand for the post of village sarpanch every time. And he had this very, very bad habit of giving long speeches of 1 hour, 1.5 hours. And every time he spoke, he lost. In fact, he used to practice his speech while milking his cow. And one day his cow got so frustrated, it kicked him on his face. And when he broke his jaw, poor Ramnath couldn't speak more than 5 or 6 lines when he went to stand for the Sarpanch election. And guess what? He got elected. And from that time onwards, he never lost an election for the next 4 years because he used to speak only 6 or 7 lines every time he went for his presidential or Sarpanch election. So we speak so much. And the reason we speak so much is we think people are paying attention. But did you know that the attention span of a human being has come down drastically? The International Journal for Psychiatry says that in 1990, the average attention span of a human being was 45 minutes. In 2000, it shrunk to 22 minutes when the serials and television came into vogue. In 2010, it had come down to 16 minutes, and by the time it had become 2020, with all your smartphones around, it's only 6 minutes. Every 6 minutes you want to see something else. And if a person's attention span is so low, can you afford to speak so long to him or actually listen to him for so long? No. Imagine you had a choice of a video of 15 minutes or 3 minutes on YouTube. Which would you choose? Definitely the 3 minute one because it is shorter. In fact, I learned this lesson from my very good friend Avinash. Avinash was dropping his daughter off to the airport because she was going to study in the US for her bachelor's, and he wanted to give a long speech about how not to mix with guys, don't become corrupt over there, and don't talk about all these things, concentrate on your studies. But Avinash was so brilliant in the way he spoke to his girl. He told Naina, remember one advice from my side. She said, what, Daddy? He said, don't let a fool kiss you or a kiss fool you. That's all. Don't let a fool kiss you or a kiss fool you. And she got the message. She giggled and she took the flight. I don't know what she's doing there, but I think that was brilliant about what a person could say in just a few lines. In fact, the greatest speakers in the world are people who speak very briefly. Did you know that the Gettysburg Address of Abraham Lincoln, of the Democracy Address, was only 259 words long? The speech given by John F. Kennedy to put a man on the moon to NASA was only 372 words. Jesus, one of the greatest motivators, always spoke in small parables, whether it was the prodigal son or the good Samaritan. Lord Krishna, when he gave his Bhagavad Gita, gave answers to Arjuna only in stanzas of 4 lines each. And these are great speakers. And that's what brevity is, the soul of wit. I had a student called Sunil who actually was taken in an ad agency called O&M. And in 2019, it was the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And O&M was asked by Bajaj to release an ad. And Sunil was entrusted this task and he won the Golden Lion, which is the highest award in the ad agencies, for his brilliant brevity in the way he depicted the ad. The ad was very simple. He showed Gandhiji weaving cloth in his charkha, and under that was written the line, 2 wheels can turn a nation, and just next to that was a small bike, Bajaj Auto. 2 wheels can turn a nation. So I just want to urge you, can you keep your words short? Can you keep it just a little short? As Winston Churchill said, your speech should be long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to create interest. So can you create that interest in your speech? And there's one more thing which I want to talk about. Not only keep it short, but I'm going to ask you a question. Bhavna, you're the grammarian for the day, right? Can you tell me what does this word mean? What does this line mean? Pulchritude possesses solely cutaneous profundity. Shaima, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you mean when I say all articles that correspond with resplendence need not be auriferous? Okay, she's the R counter for the day, correct? But I want to tell you multitude possesses solely beauty in its profundity means beauty is only skin deep. All articles that coruscate with resplendence means all that glitters is not gold. So just keep your words short and also keep it simple, because it is said when you raise the level of your vocabulary, you lower the standard of your conversation. That was given by the great Toastmaster Rajdeep Magwani. So just to end, I would like to tell you one thing. Jim Rohn used to always say the secret of his success was the kiss which was given to him by his wife Shirley Rohn. And by kiss, it meant keep it short and simple. Thank you so much.
You know, a speech like this is usually in Toastmasters terms considered a project. But if people like Rajdeep, Sumitra Manmohan, Vijayanand speak, I always feel it's a showcase. It's a showcase of what Toastmasters can actually do, and I'm so glad Rajdeep was doing just that today. I think this strikes a chord especially for people like me and people younger than me, because attention span is not just reduced to 6 minutes. Think about it, a YouTube ad gives you 5 seconds before you hit the skip button. I think from between 2020 to 2023, it went from 6 minutes to 5 seconds. And that's how low our attention span is getting. I also like the fact that Rajdeep spoke about the Gettysburg Address. What people don't talk about the Gettysburg Address is the fact that Edward Everett spoke for 2.5 hours, and like Rajdeep said, Abraham Lincoln just spoke for 2.5 minutes. The power of words is not in quantity, but in quality. And I'm so glad Rajdeep did that so brilliantly. Can we give a huge round of applause for Rajdeep? Moving on to our second speaker. Same game, different answers. Name, place, animal, thing. Help me guess it, and if you get it right, maybe you win a chocolate. Let's do this. Now, this Toastmaster is again a DTM. If the Toastmaster has family, don't guess this. I asked him, what's that one name you'd like to be called for 24 hours? And guess what he said? Any guesses? You can't spill out. So you look confused. You forgot what you said?
I'm the third speaker, not the second.
You're the third speaker? Okay, are we going? Yeah. Okay, so change of plans. Guys, life is filled with surprises. So we're going to go with our second speaker. Same question. We'll ask what our DTM, now this time it's Sumitra Manmohan. So guess what DTM Sumitra Manmohan said?
Chocolate.
No. Chocolate is for the answer. Aishwarya Rai. Wrong answer.
Aishwarya. Right.
That's because you spoke to me on call. Dr. Asif. No. Dr. Asif is excluded out of this entire game because I had to give him some of my answers. Name the place that Sumitra Manmohan ma'am most resonates with her wife's name. Mumbai, Bangalore, Bombay,
Delhi.
A little hint.
Canada.
Canada is.
Chennai.
Go international.
Malaysia.
Switzerland, no.
Norway.
Pakistan.
Oh my God. Is that because she always bombs the stage, setting it on fire? No. Not Pakistan.
Is it anything? France?
Not France.
Greenland.
3, 2, 1. It's Japan. Because she believes in discipline, she believes in getting things done orderly, and most importantly, Japan, as you know, is one of the most efficient countries in the world. Now, let's go with the animal that she's exactly opposite in nature of. That she said, if you can guess it again, chocolates are for stay. Squirrel. No.
Horse.
Horse. No.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. No. Not giraffe. My God.
Peacock.
No.
Peahen.
Brilliant! That's the right answer. Because catch. That's the biggest chocolate that I have. Sloth, because she believes sloths are very lazy and she's a very active person. Now, finally, What's the one thing that you find on a game board that she resonates herself with the most? At police. I'm expecting one of the girls to get this. But let's go. No, that's too specific. Jewelry kits. Anybody?
Can I answer?
Yes. No, you answered the same thing.
Is it Pandora box?
No. Last 3, 2, 1. Any guesses? She said she resembles with the pawn of the queen on the chessboard because the queen has complete accessibility to move in any direction and is the most powerful pawn on the chessboard. Right? Her speech titled Empathy, Leadership and Flexibility, the Secret to Leadership and Success. Before I call her on stage, I ask Joe Paul to read out the guidelines first.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, the purpose of this project is for the member to identify her primary leadership style or styles, or share some aspect of her primary leadership style, or discuss leadership styles in general. Timer, please note the time is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for one of the first DTMs in the country, the women DTM who also appeared on the Toastmasters International magazine. Put your hands together for DTM Sumitra Manmohan. Thank you. Speech title, Empathy, Leadership and Flexibility, Secret to Leadership and Success, DTM Sumitra Manmohan.
Thank you, Danush, for that great introduction and having kept everyone guessing. Blair Singer, a reputed coach and trainer, and my favorite, always says in his programs, teachers are leaders, and leaders are teachers. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
That is why I thought I would share 2 of my experiences as a trainer and one as the president of the club to illustrate my affiliative and coaching styles of leadership which came up dominant in the questionnaire that's part of this project. I was taking public speaking sessions in the primary section of an upmarket school in Bangalore when a snooty brat entered the class. No smile, no greeting anyone. He went and took his seat, sat in an arrogant manner, and nose turned up. I was taken aback, but recalled the dictum given by the school, no disciplinary action. So I asked him with a smile, don't you believe in greeting people? No, he said. It doesn't matter what other people think of me. Now that day I was taking body language through role plays of a story called Lazy Jack. So I first picked up Karthik for the lead role. That came as a reply, how can I take it, ma'am? What will my classmates say? I replied, I thought that doesn't matter what others think of you. Come on, Karthik, you can do it well. He took it, he did it brilliantly. All the kids applauded him and they went for a break. After the break, to my surprise, Karthik was there at the door. First, he said, hi ma'am, with a broad smile, and came. Thereafter, every time I bumped into him, he would greet me warmly, and sometimes they cross the quadrangle and wave out vigorously to catch my attention to say hi. Similarly, in another incident, I was taking the attitude development workshop in one of the largest public sectors in India. And there was this participant by the name Khan who sat aloof, arms crossed across his chest, glum expression on the face and did not participate or interact. My second session was on smile, and I took them through the benefits of smile on health, this for health, work, and happiness. And I also made them go through an activity which kept them smiling for 5 minutes, only for them to get a feel of the positive impact of a smile. After the lunch break, all the participants came running up to me and said, "Ma'am, Khan was smiling and interacting with me. Something we've not seen for 16 years we've been here," he said. Now you may ask, how does this transformation happen? That's because I always, understand the emotional needs, and I sort of motivate them and make them come out, bring out their best version of themselves. And had I reacted to that boy, maybe he would have never changed. But I took it in my stride and gradually brought him on track. And similarly, even whatever I do, I never impose these changes on people, but explain to them the impact, either way, of the bad behavior that they have or the good one, what they get out of it, and that is how they change. Now coming to my tenure as president of the club, my VP membership and Sergeant at Arms came up with this idea of conducting an event on road safety in collaboration with an NGO in the same area, because that year WHO had declared road injuries as a disease. So with the okay from the senior Toastmasters, but they warned me no financial help because we didn't have the funds those days. But my team members went ahead undeterred. They got sponsorships for the prizes and other expenses. We got the venue free of cost. And that was when we decided to have an inter-club speech contest and a panel discussion inviting the Assistant Commissioner of Police for Traffic and the road safety engineering consultant and a doctor specialized in head injuries from NIMHANS, and they were also the judges for the speeches. We pulled it off successfully, and for the first time, Toastmasters had gone beyond the club to embrace the social cause. Now, how was this possible? It's because of my innovative style of leadership, another one which is fairly dominant in me. I'm open to ideas, and also, I give team members the freedom to work their way but make the outcome very clear. And that is how we achieve things, and of course, how we I motivate them, support them. As I sign off, I'd like to endorse the view of Martha Wilson, who says in an article on People Mastery, life-affirming relationships don't just happen. We need to initiate, spark, nurture, and manage, create and recreate them to build bonds and influence others. And I would like to add, if you have empathy, if you show respect, warmth, and trust, you can get the response from anyone as leaders. Back to the table.
I definitely agree with so many things Sumitra ma'am had to say. The first thing that resonated with me was the fact that if you have to be a leader, if you have to be a teacher, you better be a learner and a reader. That's a motto that I strongly believe in, and if you want to be a great Toastmaster, you also have to be a learner and a reader, because this is where leaders are truly made. I was able to resonate with this kind of leadership because I was also a leader at various positions. But one thing I realized was, as much as I had to showcase my creativity, which required empathy, sometimes the people who worked under me never thought of empathy, but they thought of gunpathy. Because I came across as very strong, shrewd. But guess what? Toastmasters is a place where you can come, experiment, do all the mistakes in the world and still forgive you and love you. And this is where I feel you can grow and transform and let go of any vices that you have. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the third DTM who's going to give a speech today. We have, it's very obvious, it's DTM Gangadhar. So without further ado, let's go guessing on name this annual thing. Now, this name that he gave me is actually a name which is also a name of a Bollywood movie. Any guesses as to what the name could be? Dawn. Dawn. Oh, I like that. No.
Goldman.
Goldman. I can't imagine somebody's name being Goldman.
Chris.
No. It starts with a B.
Bobby.
No.
Batman.
No.
Ball Bachan.
No.
Bazigar.
3, 2, 1. He said Bunty and Bubbly.
Oh.
Tough luck. Let's move on quickly. City that he resonates most with. If you know him enough, huh?
Dubai.
Who said that? Who said Mumbai? Nobody says Mumbai. Okay, I didn't know. I heard somebody say Mumbai. Okay, the animal that he feels that is exactly opposite to him. Ant. Sloth. No, we won't repeat answers.
Jack.
Huh? No, come on. Azik sir, I know you're telling the answer, I can hear it already.
Wolf.
No. Very wrong. No. Elephant, no. 3, 2, no. My God. It's a snake. Because he thinks he's not a folk town person. Okay, thing. If you can guess the thing, I'll give you a chocolate.
Queen.
Everybody got it. I heard somebody from here say it, Sergeant Arms. You said it, the president says present. That's right. Catch. Okay, so his speech title is called Pillars in Service of Excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your put your hands together to be evaluated with the guidelines. Oh, Vijay Kalpur here.
The speaker is presenting a second speech evaluation feedback. The purpose of this project is practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluated in a club meeting. The purpose of the speech is to remember to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectful evaluation-filled speech. Time of please note time is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Vijay, for reading out the guidelines. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for DTM Gangadhar. Speech title, Pillars in Service Excellence. Pillars in Service Excellence, DTM Gangadhar. No chocolate, please.
Don't stop planning. People at the back, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Yep. Hello. Right. They say that foundation is the most important thing for any building, any structure, any concept, for that matter, even for a thought. Because it requires to be really, really strong. Having said that, I had a thought in my mind that in customer service, is there a foundation for customer service? I was really thinking about this. Does customer service have anything called a foundation on which it can rest? And I really couldn't find an answer.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and to all guests, wish you all a very good evening. When I found there's no answer, I did a lot of research work, spoke to a lot of people, read a lot of books, and finally came with a theory in service excellence. A theory that can be applied to any industry, irrespective of its size. And a theory which fortunately got copyrights from India and UAE. Now, without wasting more time, because this can move into a half-day workshop or I need to get it down in 7 minutes. Let me start with the most important pillar in service excellence, and that is, I've just put the alphabet, it stands for attitude. Now, attitude is that one interpersonal relation you keep with another human being, irrespective whether he is your customer, he is your colleague, he is a family member at home, he is a friend, whoever it must be. It's that relationship that you have between one another. And if you have a good relationship, your service can be of a good quality. I'm going to share an example with you. Let's say you go to a store, and anybody who think you resonate with it, just quietly put a thumbs up, that's all I need. If you resonate with the examples I'm giving you. You go to a store and you approach the refund or exchange counter, and this person at the counter does not even look up at you. As a matter of fact, she has not even acknowledged your presence. Eventually, after some time, you make sure that she acknowledges your presence, and she looks up and she starts a string of interview questions. Do you have the product? Do you have the original receipt? When did you buy it? And in a very condescending manner, she says, give me that, let me see what I can do about it, and walks away. Now, this store could be the best in town. They could be the industry leader. But so far as my experience goes, I think they have a long, long way to go when you're looking at a good customer experience or attitude of the person who's taking care of you. Moving on from there, the next important pillar is communication. Communication is when you are getting your message across to the person, the other person across, and making him enlightened. You're telling him what things are all about. You are educating him about something so that he will start accepting your way of thinking. And that plays a very key role, irrespective of whatever kind of communication you might be doing. Could be verbal, could be over a mail, could be over any other kind of things. So communication plays a key role because it keeps the other person one up when he knows what it's all about. Let's go back to the same store. And today, that lady is very sweet. She's got a lovely attitude. All right? And she takes the product and says, let me see what I can do. And she takes the product. She goes back office and she comes back within a minute and says, it's with the service manager. We'll just get back to you and let you know what needs to be done with it. And this goes on, but for 20 minutes there's no reply, and this lady keeps going in and out, but she's got a very awkward when she tries to catch my eye. And after a good 30 minutes, she finally goes and comes out and says, the product has to be sent to the service center, so it will be taking another couple of days more. Can you please get back to us then? Well, this could have been communicated by the service manager much earlier and save time, but no, it didn't happen that way. Moving on, the third important pillar in service excellence is time. On-time performance, time management, how you handle. In today's fast-paced world, I don't think anybody has the time to wait. Everybody wants it done yesterday. And given this kind of a scenario, it is better to deliver on time rather than to give excuses of why it got late. So on-time performance is a very key thing. I'm going to take you back to the same store. The lady is fine, and then they said, come back in 2 days' time. In 2 days' time, when you call the organization, she says that we don't really have a reply from the service center. It is going to take another 5 days. Now, it is already taken 7 days, and she says, can you please call us back? And she doesn't give any explanation. Now, the customer has been left waiting. He is definitely exasperated. You either get your product back, repaired, or you can buy a new one, depending on what you need to do. So, we always think that when we get our act together as attitude, communication, and time, we have addressed certain things in service excellence, but not really. Because the most important thing which an organization ought to be doing is ensuring they have their processes or their policies in place. A process and policy that looks at the business outside in and not inside out. It needs to look from the customer's angle, not from the business point of view. I'm going to go back again to take you to the same store, and after 5 days she comes back and says, no, it's still not ready because they're not sure if they're going to get the part or not. It's going to take another 2 more days. Now, the person is totally exasperated, doesn't know what to do. Because it's already gone so much time. And she says, we finally will make the check and give it to you. Okay, when can I get the check? It's going to take another 2 days because the service report has to go from the service center, which has to be approved by the service manager, which then goes to finance, and then they have to do a reversal of entries, and then the check is prepared and then it will be handed over to you. Now that is the process of the organization, not looking at the convenience of the customer. So, if only in these scenarios, if you had a good process in place, you meet customer expectations. With a positive attitude, you pleasantly surprise the customer. With good communication, you keep him well informed. And if you're on time, you satisfy the customer. It's important that you keep this thing in mind that service is a pact. You take care of your side of the pact, and the customer will take care of his side of the pact to come back with repeat and more business. Thank you, and over to you.
We learned about pact, but remember, if you have to create an impact, you got to know the pact. Right? Thank you for such a wonderful message, sir. Moving on, we're running a little short of time. Let's quickly get to your next speaker's introduction, before which I'll ask Vaidyanathan to read out the evaluator's guidance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The purpose statement of this particular project is for the member to develop and practice a personal strategy for building connections through networking. And the second purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his experience networking. So timer, please note the time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vaidyanathan. Now let's quickly play name, place, animal thing. You know who the final speaker is. It's DTM Vijay Anand. I asked him for a name that he would replace his original name with for 24 hours. What's the guess? 5 seconds. Quickly. Hint. Shah Rukh Khan. I'm impressed. Vijay Anand. I'll give you a hint. It's aligned to his favorite sport. What's the sport that he loves?
Cricket.
Cricket. Yeah, somebody said tennis. Now let's get going for tennis.
Federer.
3.
Nadal.
Somebody young. 2. No. It's okay. Pete Sampras. Oh yeah. Now the bulbs are glowing. Okay, we go to the place now. What place does he resonate or vibe with the most? Have you been to this place, by the way? I don't know. Wait.
Goa.
I still like the answer. No.
Hyderabad.
No. Go international. Quick. 3.
Las Vegas.
2.
New York.
No, New York. My God. Animal. Now you have to get this. Animal. Opposite to his personality. Who said elephant? Wow, okay, give the last chocolate to the sergeant now. It's an elephant. And finally, I asked him what's that one thing that he resonates most with on a board game. He said a car. Speaking of car, I remember driving once with him in his Wagoner, and then we saw a Lamborghini pass right next to us, and he overtook the Lamborghini and he said, one day I will use this in my speech, but a Wagoner overtook a Lamborghini. I remember that day vividly. Speech titled, Your Network Decides Your Net Worth. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together to DTM Vijayanand. Your network decides your net worth, DTM Vijayanand.
Your network decides your net worth. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. When I say net worth, I'm just not talking in terms of finance. I mean also your intellectual net worth, your emotional net worth, and your social net worth. Trust me, when you network, your life will see massive changes. And to convince you about that, I'm going to divide my talk into 3 parts. The first one, the importance of networking. The second, a strategy to network. And the third, my experience of networking. Let's get to the first point, the importance of networking. All of us want to climb the rungs of the corporate ladder, right? We want to move ahead in our careers. Zippia, the career expert, conducted a survey which revealed that 85% of people got their jobs via networking, be it professional or a personal connection. Now, just not on the professional front, even on the personal front, networking could change your life. Many years ago, we had a young member, Neil, who joined our club, Bangalore Toastmasters. He decided to opt from Mr. Robinson D'Souza as his mentor. Now, Neil went to Robinson's house to give project speeches. Now, little did Neil know that he would be preparing for the biggest project of his life, Project Yes, Neil married Robinson Sir's daughter Sona. No, he didn't plan it that way. He was only networking for the mentor for the project. Project speeches. So I can see there are many bachelors and bachelors in the house. You never know, when you network, you could find your life partner. Not necessarily in Toastmasters, in general. Friends, not only marriage friends, networking will help you foster fantastic relationships. When you expand your horizons, you get fresh ideas, new perspectives. So I'm sure all of you will be right, important networking on the professional and personal front. Now if you're wondering, how do I network? I have a strategy for you, which brings me to the second point. 3-step formula, POC. P stands for, any guesses? Your pitch. O is objective and C is context. Let's get into the P in the POC. Pitch. Remember, when you pitch to the person in your networking with, you've got to align your pitch with your area of expertise, your forte or your strength. Many years back, I was in an HR conference, 300 delegates. So one delegate asked me, Mr. Vijay, in which areas are you into corporate training? So I replied, communication skills, presentation skills, team building, interpersonal skills, conflict management, negotiation skills, time management, stress management. The delegate got stressed out. He almost collapsed. After a second, I asked him, sir, what happened? Sir, he became white. He asked me a question. Are you Rajinikanth's relative? I said, why are you still asking the question? No man, you're doing every topic under the sun. It seems you're a jack of all, master of none. So friends, if you pitch like this, you will have to lollygag. One thing is So when I entered corporate in 2005, I reworked my pitch. I said my forte is communication and presentation skills. P is the pitch, moving to objective. Keeping the pitch in mind, you've got to be very clear what is your objective. So my objective in the college world was to enable students to speak effectively, to crack the interview and get their dream job. In the corporate world, it was to empower corporate employees to be more assertive and articulate their views. Remember friends, when you network, your objective should answer the question, what's in it for me, for the person you're pitching to? Only then there's a buy-in. We finished the pitch, and what's the objective? Moving to the C, which is the contact. I was very clear, in colleges, I had to meet the placement and training officer to get more opportunities to train in colleges. In the corporate world, I had to meet the learning and development folks, not your payroll, employee engagement, or HR business partner, or any other folks in the HR department. When you pitch, when you seek for contacts networking. Be very clear whom you want to contact if your networking has to be successful. We have finished 2 points. First one is the importance of good networking. Second is strategy. That's POC, how to network. Now, if you're wondering whether this will work or not, please allow me to share my third point, which is my experience in networking, how it's benefited me. 2002, when I joined this club, I was so shy, introvert, man of few words. I couldn't talk to one person, forget a group of people. Just even 2-3 men, I could not talk to them. I would shiver, I would sweat. Vishal, talking to men. If I had to talk to a lady, I would run 100 meters. Let me clarify, in the opposite direction. That was the fear I had. Now, joining Toastmasters, networking with lovely people here, I grew in confidence, grew in stature, I started talking to people. Not only that, friends, 2005, it was a dream come true. I got into corporate trading. And why? Because I networked with my Toastmasters. Just to name a few, I'm deeply indebted to Sumi ma'am, who introduced me to Info 2006, Robinson sir, who gave me so many opportunities, my very good friend Rajdeep, who put me on a few colleges, and of course I've done also work for London's organization. I've just mentioned a few names, not the other names due to paucity of time. Now friends, a person who was so shy, so low on confidence, getting into corporate training, having no exposure as a corporate trainer, done work in about more than 10-12 sectors: automotive, IT, retail, banking, telecom, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, life sciences and more. Why? Because of networking. It changed my life. Friends, before I sign off, I just want to tell you, networking is not only about your business or profession, it's a holistic growth. Like I told you, right? Intellectually, emotionally, and even socially, you will grow. You'll be amazed at what you learn from people when you network. Trust me, when you network, magical, marvelous, and miraculous things will happen. Just keep this one thing in mind. Your network decides your net worth. Let's go.
I think that was a phenomenal, power-packed, prepared speech session. We quickly will move on to a break session, and like taking Vijayanand sir's advice, this is going to be a networking break, so meet people, talk to people, and most importantly, when you speak of break the ice, talk to people you don't know of, and that's the best part about a break. We're going to take a break for 5 minutes, we'll be back, and we're going to get on to the most exciting part of the session, which is the table topics.
Table topic session. The next session is going to be a table topic session. This is impromptu speaking. This is one of the most exciting sessions for all the guests who are coming here for the first time. We're going to have Toastmaster Alan Arana here. Quickly going to introduce Toastmaster Alan Arana. I asked him what's that one name that he would replace his original name with. He said Amar Akbar Anthony. Don't complain to the police station. I'm not trying to eat these people here, but yeah. I asked him what's that one place that resonates most with him. Anybody who can guess the place quickly? 3, 2, 1. No, wrong answer. Name the animal that he's exactly opposite in nature with. 3, 2, 1. No. One thing that would be on the game board. If you guess this, you get a merchandise from Toastmasters International. No, it's a tree. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Toastmaster Alan Arana, our table topic master for today.
Thank you. I'm sure you all want to speak. Thank you, Lalit. I'm sure you all want to speak here on stage and not wanting me to speak any further. Basically, what is table topics? So table topics is when you come here, speak spontaneously, and the topic is not known to you beforehand. Now, I promise that this is going to be the easiest table topics ever, and we're going to see how that goes, right? Now, very, very simple. We are going to weave the most creative story, okay, ever created, and we're all going to jointly do it. Now, what do I mean? So, I'm going to start off with a line. The first person comes starts narrating. There is no bar on creativity. You can talk anything. You can bring in Aishwarya Rai to Priyanka Chopra to Shah Rukh Khan to a tree to anybody, name, place, animal, thing, anything, right? The only thing, we'll keep things interesting. With the line, we'll change the genre. So for example, someone will get romance, someone will get action, someone will get adventure, right? So, everybody understood?
Yes.
Okay.
All clear.
You know, I can see people getting excited for other people getting called for the first thing. Okay, so let's start so the statement is, I woke up in a time machine. I could never imagine what happened next. And to take that story forward, we have the one and only Sureka ma'am. Just a reminder, everybody speaks for 1 minute. After that, the bell starts ringing, everyone starts clapping, and it's on to the next.
This is 1932. I'm 10 years old. And my drawing teacher tells me, get up and go draw a bunch of grapes. I said, I can't. She said, draw a bunch of grapes on the blackboard. I said, I can't. And all the children around, all my friends around were laughing and mocking me and saying, she can't, ma'am. She is a drawing Dumbo. And she looks at me and she says, what is it? I says, yes, ma'am, I can't draw that bunch of grapes. I am a Dumbo. I can't draw. And she looks straight into my eyes and says, don't you believe that. Somebody else's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. If they have a right to your opinion, to an opinion, you also have the right to ignore it. So go ahead and create your own reality. And that's where I am today, drawing bunches of grapes. Thank you so much.
Now to take that wonderful leap of going back in the past, and what did she draw? Anybody? For everyone, everyone's active, right?
Grapes.
Grapes. Grapes go well with romance. So to give this a romantic twist, we have the one who makes this meeting possible every week, Priyanka.
It's actually a very shocking, thing for me. Okay, romance. Grapes is something that we all enjoy. Why? Because it has a little bit of sweetness and sour. And I think a relationship is something like that, where it is sweet and sour. And when I get this opportunity, I would like to go to a place where I will be served varieties of desserts or anything made of grapes, so that it reminds me that relationships can never always be the same at any point of life. It keeps changing based on from which tree that the grapes have been plucked. So I wait for that moment where I get the best tree and the best grapes where I can relish it. Over to you.
Remember guys, we started with a time machine. I said grapes with romance. I didn't talk about her romancing grapes, but that's what exactly happened. So, I don't know. So you have the context of a time machine, Priyanka romancing grapes. So to take that wonderful cocktail forward, remember time machine, drawing of grapes, Priyanka romancing grape. To take that forward, we have Mr. Robinson.
She stopped at grapes and romance. But with grapes, what will you prepare? What you like? Yeah, you are right. Many years ago, I liked that. grapes and preparing wine of the grapes. And I succeeded. Not only that, I went on experimenting. Then I started preparing wine out of rice, out of other vegetables. Just you imagine. I had many types of wines of various varieties, various things. But ultimately, I had to stop because I was appointed as a judge.
Again, started with time machine, ended with grape, now wine. I realize people have forgotten the time machine because after drinking wine, you forget what happened in the past. So, on that wonderful thought of wine and getting nostalgic about the past that it all started with the time machine, we have the one and only Toastmaster Saloni. Please give a huge round of applause.
So using the time machine, I went back to the days when they used to romance with grapes. I saw that and I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I came back to 2023 where I went to a store to buy wine for a wedding gift. And I went there and I said this story how to overcome with the fear of people judging you to draw grapes, and I shared the story with them of how people used to romance using grapes, and I attended the wedding, went back home and had some grapes.
If you ever doubted that anyone was not listening to all the table topics, she proved it wrong. She narrated everything. Even the table topic person has forgotten what they have said, but that was a very good comprehensive update. People are thanking you because you have come back to 2023, made the picture clearer for everybody. To take this wonderful story forward in the time machine, coming back to 2023, we have Toastmaster Mehboob-Ullah. Please give a huge round of applause, please.
Well, time is always changing, and change is the only constant. And grapes, everybody likes it, not just for the wine, it also brings lot of, as Miss Priyanka mentioned, it tastes sweet and salt, and that's life. And life runs and has a start and a finish. So time matters, so value time more than money, more than grapes, and more than anything else. Thank you.
I knew Mehboob-Ullah will do well. His company is named Modern Classroom, so he travels, so he's good with the time machine.
Thank you.
So, moving forward, people, I don't know how people are going to take forward from your topic, but you can stay with time machine 2023. Remember, the story is yours. Move the way you want to, but let's give it a thriller feel now. Whoever comes forward 2023, you can take the story forward with however you want to, with grapes, wine, and everything nice. Let's have our very own quiet looking but dynamic Toastmaster Subhanshu.
So currently I was drinking the wine which was 70 years old and since I prepared in night in these days. And when I was getting dizzy, I just slipped in the time machine. And when I woke up, something was sniffing on my head. I was just shocked, and I saw a dinosaur. And I thought I came back in the time machine. And then suddenly someone from just shooted lasers on me. I was confused. In back those days, who used laser machines? Then I came to know it's 2500. And it's future. They have re-engineered the dinosaur to reality. And just then I got to know we are not living on Earth, we are living on Mars, and we are having a war with some other galaxies. And that was a very chaotic situation. I thought to go back to my current year, but just then I realized time machine failed, and there was no Isaac Newton to repair it at that time. So probably I went to search the best scientists in those days if they have revealed the time machine.
Sumanshu just narrated 8 films in 1 minute. 8 films in 1 minute. I don't know how he did that. Now, I mean, he's set the benchmark to I don't know what. But to take that wonderful, very clear, coherent, table topic forward, we have the very wonderfully quiet but witty Toastmaster Vishwanath.
Genre's comedy.
Yeah. Not comedy you want. I think with all the so many table topic speakers talking about all the grapes with the romance in the past and having a good wine and slept for a day together and then coming back making it time is more important. At the same time, in the journey, looking at the animal as dinosaur, which was not the case. It was a human. Who was that? Any guess? Yes, it was Alan Arana talking about the table topics, giving everyone each topic and talking about only for 1 minute, which I just now completed.
So Vishwanath, thank you so much for that wonderful topic. Look at his confidence without shaking hand, he has gone. I really love that part. Okay, now we are going to do something that we have never done in table topic session before. I would like to call all the people I call on stage, I want them on stage now. Gaurav, Chaitra, Ratan, Rashi, Kamlesh, Nagesh Rao, Srinivas, Shreya, Vishal, Nisha and Rahul. All of you are on stage. Okay, so you all must be quite confused as to where the topic is right now. So we are going back to the time machine. The only trick here is everybody gets 30 seconds to talk, but nobody knows who the next person is. And after you finish 30 seconds, you have to leave the stage so that everybody gets a chance. Okay? And the topic, as you know, I woke up in a time machine. I saw Aishwarya in front of me, and to take that topic forward, we have Kamlesh. Oh, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
So when I woke up in the morning and saw the Aishwarya, but I was thinking that it is the Aishwarya Rai, but it is not the Aishwarya Rai. And my dream fall back, and it was I was dreaming all the time that my wife would be also like Aishwarya, but isn't it? But life isn't like that. So what we can make sense that we cannot have it.
Next person, Rashi.
Okay, so after I woke up from my sleep, it was actually Aishwarya Rai because we were in a film festival and it was my pure luck that I got to see her in her ultimate beauty and she was extremely beautiful. I got to have a beautiful conversation with her and my first question was.
Vishal.
My first question was, what do you want from me? But as I asked this question, I saw a small flicker in her face. It turns out, it wasn't Aishwarya Rai, it was a simulation. The government was behind me. Why? Well, with my experimenting with wine, I had created the elixir of youth, and all the secret services around the world were behind me. That's why I had gotten into the time machine, to stop myself from making it. But then, Aishwarya Rai is here trying to get me to give her the time machine.
Rahul. Okay. Chaitra.
Time machine.
And here I was trying to take back the time machine that Aishwarya Rai was trying to grab from me. Now there are only two ways to escape from that situation. One is, fight her physically, or two, get into the time machine and get into a different year. And I did my best to fight her, it wouldn't work out. So I distracted her. I asked her, look at what's behind you, and then she turned. I quickly got
Shreya.
So these people are talking about how time machines would take them back. How can I go? I'm just 18, and if I go back in time machine, I would be like a 2-year kid. So the only way I could fight Aishwarya Rai is by verbally, and that word would be Goo Goo Gaga. That's all. I can't do anything physically.
Okay, now the person starts talking. At any point in time, the bell will ring and the person has to switch. Okay? The next person, Nagesh.
If I comes in front of me.
No.
Then rang the bell for him.
Okay, I will get confused where I am actually. So, I will be speechless. Maybe it will take some time to start interaction.
Okay. Ratan.
So Aishwarya is in front of me. Aishwarya Rai is in front of me. I look at the time machine. I press a button and it takes me to 1982.
Aishwarya is in front of me and I'm amazed. To me, she is the most beautiful woman on earth. And what better idea than, having some grapes, wine. So I would definitely can't romance, but no romance, but yes, romance with her in a beautiful cozy place and have some
So, I saw Aishwarya Rai thinking of romance, but accidentally I was in 2015 when she got married to Abhishek. So, having seen Abhishek Bachchan in this level and Amitabh Bachchan, I dare to not talk to her.
Since we have wine time machine, I wonder why somebody haven't thought about using it to gain some money. Like I'll just buy a bunch of wine, put it across time, and like 100 years ago, 20 years.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. It was really amazing. The topics were crazy, but you all were even crazier, which always works well. And everyone was a sport and supported each other. Thank you for the opportunity. And it's back to the Toastmaster of the day, the dynamic Lalit.
Well, a quick word of credit to Alan. He's so well managed time and he accommodated so many people, and I think that's the ability of aging also in Toastmasters, just like wine, you get better by time. So Alan, fantastic, very well done. Let's move on to the next segment very quickly. We have our general evaluator for this session, who's also an external evaluator today. I'll quickly play this game one last time before I leave. Give me a name that he chose. A name that he would alternate for 24 hours. Huh?
Vasco da Gama.
Vasco da Gama, no.
Columbus.
That's actually very close. That's actually very close. He said he loves his own name. He won't change it anyway. Navigator. Place. Done. Time has passed. Place. What place does he resonate most with?
Goa.
France.
Who said Goa? Alan, please give Alan the gift. I was going to give him the gift anyway, but Alan didn't give it. Goa. Goa is the right answer. That's a merchandise for Toastmasters. Next, what animal does he resonate most with in terms of his personality that's opposite to it? Quickly. No. No. 3. No, I don't have anything, but I won't. I can't do anything. He said eagle because sometimes he chickens out. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome our general evaluator for today, DTM Gama.
Gama.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
It's such a pleasure to be at Bangalore Toastmasters Club, one of the first clubs in the city of Bangalore, which goes back to 1996. Right, sir? Yes, sir. Greetings from my club, Smedley Speakers Society Toastmasters Club. That's a long name. As I speak before you, I know some of my club members would have loved to be, and they asked me, is it hybrid meeting? Unfortunately, it was not. Otherwise, I would have had a lot of them joining us. Some of them wanted to come, but they could not make it because they saw the poster too late. Before I start, I just want to ask us one question. There's one thing that your club, my club, the Smedley Speakers Society Toastmasters Club, and your club, not BMTC, BTMC, has in common, to me, maybe to you, may not be to many of you. Can some of you think of what may be common between us? Of course, Toastmasters is an organization, don't go into that. What do you think is common?
Maybe Friday 6:30 to 8:30.
We meet on Sunday morning.
Fun and energy.
Oh yes, definitely.
The
Vibe, okay.
Zeal to learn.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Zeal to learn.
Sorry?
Zeal to learn.
Oh, zeal to learn. Awesome. Yeah, I think, yes. Yes, sir.
What was common?
What was common? Oh wow, I like that. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. There are lots of things that we have in common, but for me it is not in the past tense. Sir, your good name? Sorry? Ratan. My mind just goes back to, many of you may not know this, we both had a member in our club called Chandri Kumar. CK is how we popularly knew him. He was the best friend I had developed over the years. He's the bestest of best friends, and the only thing I can recall and what comes to my mind is this amazing person. If you have not seen him, met him, go on YouTube and key in Chandil Kumar or CK, you'll see a lot. I'm so delighted to be here. There's a lot of other things that we have in common. There are a lot of youthful young people, exciting and energetic, and we don't go on lollygagging. We have a lot of things in common. As I come and stand before you, I must say that Rajdeep, Mr. Robinson and I are good old friends. Robinson is good, Rajdeep is old, and I am of course the friend. That's an old one, but thank you that you laughed. I want to remember with great fondness my relationship with Vijay Anand, which is very, very brief and probably not very thick, but it goes back many years behind, and CK was probably one of those links between us. And Sumitra Manmohan, I still remember we traveled to the north of India training, and those were very memorable days. Coming back to our meeting here, it was amazing that while I was probably looking at the watch, the president came to me and said, "That watch is running fast." And in a minute, we started and it was on the dot, and I'd really like to appreciate your club and the initiative taken by the members that were committed to start on the dot of 6:30. That's amazing. That's truly Toastmasters. A round of applause. Then comes in the sergeant at arms. Okay, before I go any further, I just want to remember a couple of other people with nostalgia. For me, when I think of Bangalore Toastmasters Club, I'm going back out of the meeting. I forgot to mention this. My mind goes back to another great member of your club, and that is Claudius Pereira. I don't know if you have had the opportunity of meeting a legend, an amazing speaker. You must invite him if you have not seen him recently. And of course, another legend legend that your club had that I think back and reminisce with great joy. Another member called Aaron Watson. You can Google all these names. Aaron is not with us again, like CK, he left us. Coming back to your club. I'm coming back to going before the sergeant. The theme, very thought-provoking and a lovely theme. I think all of us used it so beautifully from the beginning, and I think it's a lovely theme. Just one suggestion to all of us who use themes, who use titles in our speeches. Themes and titles of speeches should not be sentences. This was a sentence. And it would have been better if you said, the other line moves faster. That's that. Not when you get into it. A theme should be not more than 3 to 5 words, not more than that. So that was a suggestion that I had there. Moving on to the Sergeant at Arms, Kolaban, exciting, cheerful, dressed well, loud and clear, humorous, and introduced the President so beautifully. That's one of the most difficult tasks, to keep introducing the President again and again and again without telling a lie. You know, and I think you did it beautiful. A round of applause to you, sir. Only one suggestion, not to you, but to everybody who comes as a Sergeant at Arms, and to the founders of the club, and to everybody. I want you to know, maybe you know, sex, religion and politics is not prohibited by Toastmasters. So I would ask you to think about not talking about it anymore. It is not at all a Toastmasters requirement not to talk about sex, politics and religion. I've attended a lot of clubs in the other parts of the world. Nobody talks about it. Only in India I know why we talk about this. It is not offensive if we know how to talk, and we as Toastmasters do not have the ability to talk without offending people on this. So we say, please talk about sex, politics and religion courageously, and we know you do it well. I'm thinking loud, okay? I have one more suggestion. I'll tell you what it is if you meet me privately. A round of applause for him once again. I move on to President Shashank, he started with such energy. Good evening. And he was so poised when he spoke out of the lectern. He stood there, and that really showed courage of a president as he stood there. He called the meeting to order by calling out the meeting number. He came here to the stage. I think he banged the team, and there was a great round of applause. He introduced the guests. He asked the guests to introduce themselves. He did a great job. Maybe one suggestion to the president would have been, if you responded to each guest with something probably witty, humorous, or encouraging. You know, for example, somebody said, I've come here with something about a bucket list. You know? Probably you could have said, hey, that bucket is going to get filled today. Or when somebody said, I've come to experience Toastmaster, I promise you this will be a great experience. Something like that, you know, would be nice. You spoke on the theme for a relatively long enough time. You managed some humor in the middle of all this, and then you did a fantastic job in introducing the Toastmaster of the day. I think you did a splendid job. I would like to applaud you on this beautiful job done very, very well. Having said that about the Toastmaster, the president, I am moving on to the Toastmaster of the day. What an energetic gentleman, Lalit Dhanush. Started off with Michael Jordan, and he went on and on and on and on with the theme, and I was getting a little annoyed. But then I saw the time manager. He showed me the yellow card. Did you show the yellow card? No, sorry, the green card first. And then I realized you had a beautiful tradition different from my club, which allowed you to speak for a very long time on the theme. You know, that was beautiful. I thought it was fantastic. And the fact that you were able to bring out so much about the theme for the day encouraged me, and I thought you did a fantastic job. job on speaking on the theme for the day, and then you moved on to taking us through an exciting, thrilling, it was like a movie, right through, and it was very unusually interactive, and you kept us excited, you kept us at the edge of our seats sometimes, particularly when it came to quiz questions. I thought you did a great job with reference to talking about particularly the structure of the Toastmasters meeting, the three things. You did an innovative job of asking people to do it, and your introduction of the speakers with the nameplace animal thing was fantastic, and your thoughts, particularly in the beginning, I thought they were absolutely wise. I can't use a better word than that. Very thought-provoking, and you had a lot of gyan in it. For a young man like you, I thought the thoughts which you gave us were absolutely lofty, and hats off to you on that fantastic job done, sir. I would like to appreciate you together. We moved on to our prepared speech session. We had 4 speeches, and our first speech was delivered by Toastmaster DTM Rajdeep Manwani, and he was evaluated by Sudipto. Sudipto?
The speaker today was attempting to showcase how to write a speech with a purpose. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, guests, and the speaker, that is Rajdeep in particular, let us see how you fared. Your basic message for the speech was keep your message short and to the point. And I found that you used the 3 T's approach for this particular speech. The first T, tell the audience what you are about to say, and you had your opening with a very startling example of how an American president died within 30 or 40 days in office. I thought that was a brilliant example. You caught the attention of all of us right away, and the message went home, right in that very first 2 lines of the speech. I would say 10 by 10 on that. Second key, that is the body of the speech, when you tell the audience about the topic. In this, again, you had a plethora of examples. You started off with Avinash's message to his daughter. Anyone? What was that? Don't let it fool you. Then you moved on to Krishna's and Jesus' parables, how they were all four lines each, so that the message is kept small. Very well done. I would still rate it at an 8 out of 10. What could be done better there? In my humble opinion, the examples you quoted were very good, but probably an example from your own life would have trumped those examples and would have ranked home more to the audience. Coming to the last key, that is, tell them what you told them, that is, summarize your speech. And again, you did it so well with that different take of the acronym KISS, where you made it, keep it short and simple. Overall, Rajdeep, I felt, was a brilliant example of how you put all parts of the speech in alignment. Right from the title, which was Quit Beating About the Bush, to the very last kiss.
Thank you very much, Sudipto, for that very nice evaluation. I want you all to know that in my club, I'm trying to spread a practice of not evaluating the speaker, but I evaluate the evaluator. I know that you do this in the club, but I'll avoid evaluating the speaker directly. I may do it indirectly, that's what you know. Sudipto, that was a great attempt at evaluating a lofty, high, one of the best speakers that the country has seen in Rajdeep Manwani. To evaluate somebody like him is not at all easy. Toastmasters, it's very easy. Okay? One of the things that we must try our best to do is evaluate the delivery and not the speech. None of us have a right to speak about his speech. I come to what I'm actually saying. You did a good job. The most important thing, I'm giving a cue to the evaluators to come. The most important thing in Toastmasters that I see all clubs losing out on is we forget to evaluate the speaker on the guidelines of the project. I'm not going to ask you what the guidelines of the project was, but I'm going to tell you. Can anybody tell me other than him what were the guidelines of the project, other than the speaker?
Writing a speech for the purpose.
Sorry, too many things. That is one of the things of the project. What about the speech?
To write his speech with purpose.
He didn't write a speech. No, the objective of the project was to write, but the objective of the speech. Sorry, I should correct myself. Okay.
To have a concise conversation.
Yeah, somebody said purpose, okay? Okay, listen here. Whenever an evaluation happens, always the first thing that all of us should look forward to is what is the speech guideline number one? What is the first and the most important guideline? The guideline of this project was sorry, I'm searching for it, yeah, there it is, okay? To have a purpose-driven speech which is well organized. Two things. What is the purpose of this speech? Okay? And the purpose of Rajdeep Manwani's speech was very clear. It is to talk about how to use words probably in a speech. Am I right, Rajdeep? The use of words? Okay, it's okay. You're saying have a purpose in your speech. Okay, so that is the purpose of a speech, and the second thing was to make sure it was organized. And we need to comment on that. Then afterwards, comment on the other thing. You did a very, very good job. Just one suggestion: you should have shared examples from your life. Who are you to tell me what I should speak on? It is my choice. I don't think we should tell the speaker what he should have spoken about. Because it's just choice. I don't want to tell you an example of my life. So please tell me how I delivered my speech, but don't comment on the content of my speech. Content is my choice. I think he did this very, very well. That's just something I did in general. Sudipto, a great job done. Shall we give Sudipto a great round of applause? For all of us to know, KISS was not keep it short and simple. It is actually, if you go back to the person's name who he quoted, I think it was keep it stupid simple. I'm going on to the evaluation of the next speech. Empathy, leadership, done, evaluated by Jose.
Mr. General Evaluator, there are Toastmasters and dear guests. I think it's a coincidence that my first meeting that I attended as a guest was the day when the now DTM Sumitra Manmohan was taking charge as the president, and the first meeting that she conducted, more than a few decades, not few decades, just about a decade or more. Now it's just coincidence. Now let's see how she fared in this project. The first objective was to identify her primary leadership styles, and she spelled it out very clearly. It's affiliative and coaching leadership styles. The second objective was to share some aspect of her primary leadership styles. Yes, she had 3 examples to bring out her leadership traits. Now, what I like best about that is the variety and the scenario that she brought out. First one was a primary school, where a snooty Karthik became her follower. The second was in a public sector undertaking, where a grave-looking Khan began to smile at the end of the program. And the third was the Toastmasters program, where there were aspiring leaders and communicators. And she made the Toastmasters embrace the social cause. So what does it indicate? There were a few leadership traits that we indicated from these 3 scenarios. Number 1, flexibility, because 3 different scenarios, and that shows the flexibility she has as a leader. I think that was very well thought out. Second one is open-mindedness, considering new ideas. I think by introducing Toastmasters to a social cause of a road safety program, that was what that was really brought out very clearly. And then, as she said, she never imposed changes, but she just told them the impact. And that, I think, was very well thought out. And another one is about the coaching leadership style, where she motivates by challenging the individual. And that's exactly what she did in Karthik's case. Now, one aspect of the delivery which I would like to compliment her was the quote to start with. It set the context that where teachers are leaders and leaders are teachers. I think it sets the context, and the transition she had after that. Soon she moved to the school. I think that was very well done. And then, of course, we know she's a great storyteller. So she created the picture of how the snooty Karthik or the grave-looking Khan was. Now, if I may have some suggestions for you, DTM Sumitra. One is, you mentioned about the affiliative and coaching style, leadership styles. Now, from an educational purpose point of view, now I would want to know a little more about these qualities. What are the qualities that affiliative leadership style or coaching leadership style has? Like, for instance, affiliative leadership style focuses more on emotional needs, and it's more collaborative. So there you could have used the example of Khan's mind and told these are the qualities of affiliative leadership. So it would have been more clear to the audience. Another one is coaching, where leader motivates by challenging the individual. And that's exactly what you did with Karthik, where you started by, softly challenging him. I think that, and communication with positive statements. So you brought that out, but I think if you had spelled it out to the audience, it would have been more clear what the traits of affiliative and leadership coaching was all about. And I think there you spent some time on the inter-club competition, describing the scenario. I think that took away some time. Possibly that could have been used in bringing out the features of these 2 coaching styles, and you would have done a fabulous job. But I think it's a great lesson from a leader like her, and all the very best for your next speech, man.
Jose happens to be my younger brother's friend. So I'm going to take revenge. Jose, that was a great attempt once again on evaluation. Evaluations are not easy, friends. I would want to reiterate again, don't say what the speaker said. Tell us how the speaker did. In Toastmasters, we evaluate the delivery. We don't mostly we don't evaluate the content unless the project requires you to evaluate the content. I think you did a great job at attempting at evaluating how she did her delivery, and I'd like to appreciate you on that, Jose. Shall we give Jose a round of applause? And I also missed a round of applause for Sudipto. The third speaker was, whose speech was titled, Service is A. Am I right? Was that the title, or was that the first line that you gave us? He was evaluated by Vijay Kalkundi.
It takes months to find a customer and seconds to lose one. If you are lollygagging in your company in a customer service department and want to find a blueprint on how to retain customers, then the speaker today, Toastmaster Bangalore, actually took us through what a customer service should be. General Evaluator, Mr. Toastmaster, and my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests here. Today we saw an amazing speech, a well-organized speech by Toastmaster Bangalore on how the customer service plays a very important and an impactful role in any company. So he delivered a well-organized speech, and the objective of this speech was to incorporate the feedback from the previous speech, which were basically voice modulation and message driven. So today in his speech, there was a lot of clarity in his speech. Like he knew from the word go on how this particular speech has to be perceived by the people sitting here. So there was a lot of clarity in it. And how did he do it? Like he's a veteran in the customer service industry. So whatever he spoke with authority, and there was a lot of content to it, that particular speech. Then there's vocal variety. So whenever there was a requirement for a vocal variety, for example, let me tell you, like say when the customer service representative had to shuttle between the manager and the customer, he showed the urgency. So that was a real example of how to, that was one of the example of how he showed the vocal variety. The eye contact was excellent. He ensured that a proper eye contact was made with each and every people sitting in the audience. And then there is a message given where service is a pact. So that was clearly visible here. So the message was well delivered. The comfort level and the audience awareness was 5 out of 5. Now, having said that, if there are a few suggestions in my opinion which can be taken over, since there was a lot of scope of gestures in this particular speech, since in one hand you had a mic, the gesture component of the speech could have been incorporated slightly more. So that one point I could point out. And the second, since this particular topic what you are presenting had a problem solution approach, if I were to present the same speech, how I could have done slightly different was, I would have stated the example of the problem at the customer service desk at the beginning and took out the word PACT as a solution to that particular problem so that the message at the end could have been taken at a clear pace. So having said that, the customer service is such an important topic and fast-paced in today's world with short attention span people having and looking to build your net worth. So this speech actually added value to all of us. When customer comes first, the customer will stand with us till last. Back to General.
Thank you, Vijay, for that great attempt at evaluation once again. Now, why am I saying great attempt every now and then? Speeches and pathways have to be evaluated very, 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 very carefully. Toastmasters come, I've gone across the city, across the country sometimes. We just come and blather evaluation and walk. We never look at the guidelines of the speech. For some reason, I missed out the guidelines while I was sitting there. But correct me if I'm right or wrong. I'm talking to the speaker. Your speech is Gangadhar. Your speech is level 1, speech 4. Am I right?
P2.2.
Sorry?
P2.2.
The old man.
Oh, anyway, it is getting the second. You're doing the speech for the second time, right? On the basis of the feedback of the previous speech. Yeah. Okay. A great attempt. That's all the feedback I'm giving you as a speaker. But for the club in general, this speech I did 2 weeks ago in my club. I deliberately did a goof up speech. I was evaluated by a lady, and I was supposed to do the speech the coming week in my club. I'm not doing it. You know why? That evaluator who evaluated me is not available this week, so I'm doing a totally different speech. That means if I'm getting a feedback on a particular speech, one, the evaluator should have heard my speech before. How will he give me feedback based on my old speech? Okay? Or the same speaker, same evaluator who evaluated me should do the evaluation. To be a little careful with what pathways is giving us. It's amazing, but we'll have to be a little meticulous. So as a speaker, I'm waiting for my evaluator to come before I repeat that speech. So we'll have to be a little careful as a club to pay attention to the education process that Pathways is trying to give us. It's an amazing system if you watch it very carefully. Just don't go through it like any other speech. Yeah. So that's a request and a suggestion to the club as a whole, because we are all in the learning process, and Pathways is not like the old system where you could walk away with anything you wanted. Sometimes we did that. Okay. Moving on to the fourth speaker, Vijay Anand. Your net worth decides your network. Sorry, network. The network. He was evaluated by, sorry, I missed the name of the companies, Vaidyanathan.
So my dear Toastmasters, welcome guests and the speaker DTM Vijay Anand, very good evening. Today the speaker attempted a project, the title Make Connections Through Networking. The objective of this particular project is threefold. To begin with, the speaker needs to speak about the value of networking. And the second objective being how the strategy of networking. And the third one is for the speaker to share his personal experience during the course of this networking here in Toastmasters. So let us see the area in which he did really well. Number one, the first objective, which is the value of networking. There can't be a better title than the title that he chose. That means the network decides your net worth, which aptly signifies the importance or the value of networking. And second, he also spoke about the three benefits that a person can accrue by having proper networking. Number one, networking can be intellectually stimulating. Number two, it can be emotionally and socially enriching. So job well done, DTM Vijay. So the box ticked when it comes to objective number one, which is to speak about the value of networking. Now coming on to the second objective, which is the how part, the strategy to network. In this particular objective, he used an acronym called the SPEAK-OC. That means you need to use the right pitch. You also need to be absolutely clear about the objective, and he also spoke about the value of contact. Right, so the job brilliantly done, and he also peppered this particular project with a lot of examples which are humorous. So the box number two, which is the objective strategy to network, fully ticked. Now coming on to the third objective, which is to share his experience in the art of networking. So the speaker DTM Vijay, this is where I feel that you could have done a far better job. So let me say why. The purpose of this particular project is to talk about his experience in networking. Even though the speaker spoke about how he had networked with fellow Toastmasters like Rajdeep, Sumitra Mohan, and our friend Lalit, he also spoke about the experience of Neil in networking with Robinson and his daughter. But on the contrary, this project calls for his experience. That's where I think you could have used your own experience in how you have built network in Toastmasters community. Rather than talking about an experience of Neil, you could have used your own example. That's number one. And second, you also spoke about the year 2002 when you came in as a very shy, introverted personality, and in 3 years' time, you metamorphosed into someone who is extremely outgoing and you started your own training consultancy. But this project calls for you to speak about what happened between 2002 and 2005. That's the objective of this project. You have created your own agency by virtue of the support that you got from fellow Toastmasters here. And you could have taken one particular example and then spoken about how the networking helped you in becoming a consultant when it comes to communication, or how you started your own consultancy. That's where I think we missed the plot. So otherwise, it was a brilliant, typical Toastmaster DTM Vijay Anand speech. And out of 3 boxes, I can fairly say that you took tick 2 and 1 you're partially a bit. And maybe if you could have used your own example and given some information about what transformed you between 2002 and 5, I would have ticked the 3rd box as well. Otherwise, brilliant DTM Vijay. Look forward to your speech again. Thank you very much.
That was a very articulate evaluation, have a good language, and you have a very convincing style of speaking, Mr. Vaidyanathan. Once again, I'm just reminding us as Toastmasters, be careful not to evaluate the content of the speech, but the presentation of the speech, not what the speaker said. I know what the speaker said, But how did he say it is what we are very challenged to evaluate. One of the things I'm trying to look at, I didn't catch the purpose of this particular speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to develop and practice a personal strategy for building connections through networking. So he's telling us about networking, which he did. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his own networking experiences. I think he fulfilled both the requirements very, very well, and I'd like to appreciate our evaluator for what he did. A round of applause for this evaluator and also the previous. We next moved on to the table topic session by the very exciting Mr. Alan Rana. Alan, I thought you had a very innovative style of presenting your table topic session. It was full of life, full of energy, and every person who came here, we were expecting something to come out from that person. And the fact that you gave 1 minute and you brought in a lot of people here is amazing. I thought, see, one of the things for me, and I come into Toastmasters meeting as a member, if I don't speak and I walk out, that meeting was a waste for me. And I think you fulfilled this need in most of us. You gave me what I called my talk time. If I don't speak for 30 seconds, this meeting is a waste for me. And I think you gave us the opportunity to do this. Hats off for you for this very innovative last piece that you brought in. A very nice theme, brought in very, very beautifully. And I like the way you wove in one theme into the next and you pushed it on from one place to the other. Great job done. A round of applause for Alan Arana. Just one thought which I use in my club. I encourage my club table topic master to encourage the use of the word for the day during the table topic session. So it's a table topic master's job to see if everybody is using the word for the day. Tell them the previous speaker did not use the word for the day. This is the word for the day. It's it. It's a challenging thing. Another mistake I know the grammarian won't bring out, but I keep hearing it in Toastmasters meeting again and again. We call it genre, or whatever it was. It is not genre, it's genre. It's genre. I think so. You can check up and let me know. I thought it was that. Okay. Lovely topics. Let's move on to the last aspect of our meeting, the tag role players. I'd like to call on our time manager in the person of, sorry, I forgot your name. Yes, sir. Time manager, will you come?
Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. Good evening. Majority of the speakers who came on stage were on time, except for a few outliers. So, starting off with Toastmaster Kalappan, for 3 minutes it was 2:42. Toastmaster Shashank, for 7 minutes it was 7.50. DTM Lalit, for 8 minutes it was 17 minutes 37. And for the speakers, almost all were on time except for Toastmaster Gangadhar, who was 8 minutes 28 seconds. DTM Rajdeep was 6 minutes 48. DTM Sumitra 6 minutes 59. And DTM Vijayanand 6 minutes 47. In the table topics, Toastmaster Alan gave us 10 minutes of his time, and the speakers in the table topic session were all were on time. Toastmaster Mehbubullah needs to improve on his time. And coming to evaluation, DTM Francis is 21 minutes and rolling. Apart from that, the 4 evaluators all were on time, and back to the general evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you for that very crisp time report. I'll move on to the R counter. Can you kindly come and give us your report?
Good evening, Toastmasters. Everybody restricted themselves within the 5 hours and all the other kind of prepared places. So I think a very well-rounded meeting. So,
thank you. I counted 17 of mine so far. I'm joking. But if that's right, my apologies. We have the grammarian. Can you come and give us a report, ma'am?
All you brave cats and dogs out there. On that note, I'm glad to announce that there was only a light drizzle of the not so good usages and a flood of the good ones. Coming to the not so good usages, I too could have been me too. Please the examiner could have been pleaded with the examiner. Bought out could have been brought out. Moving on to the good ones. When it's not in your control, why quit? Don't let a fool kiss you or a kiss fool you. The greatest speakers in the world are those who speak briefly. Brevity is the soul of wit. Two wheels can turn a nation. Power of words is in quality, not quantity. Snooky brat. Never impose the change, but explain the impact. Not a fork-tongued person. Your network decides your net worth. And pitch, objective, and contacts. There have been a bunch of really wonderful allocations. Dubious distinction. Truly Toastmasters. Magical, marvelous, miraculous. Sweet and sour. And my top 10. Coming to the people who use the word of the day, there's DTM Lalit Dhanush, DTM Vijay Anand, General Evaluator Gama, Toastmaster Vijay Kalpundri. So kudos on that, and thank you.
That brings my job almost to a close. There are some evenings when I don't know what to do. I'm twiddling my thumb and probably jollygagging. But this evening was very rich, where I was focused and watching each one of you perform so beautifully. This is one beautiful example of a Toastmasters Club where I would like to come back again and again and again. Thank you for having me over here, and it was a very good experience, and I'm thankful for this evening. All the best, and hope to see you, young members, rising to be stars. Back to you, Mr. General.
Guys, we're running very late, so the password for all the members to vote is DTM, all in nothing in caps lock. So it's just the three letters DTM. So quickly vote, and I'd like to thank the committee for giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much, wonderful audience, for staying back so patiently, and please reach home safe and sound. Thank you all to the best.
While the members cast their votes, I have two announcements to make. First announcement is regarding the evaluation and table topics contest at our club. The club level contest will happen on the 13th of October. Both the contests, that is evaluation and table topics, will happen on 13th of October. The contest chair is Toastmaster Hannah Victoria, past president of our club. The last date to register for the contest is 3rd of October. She has already shared the link. She will be resharing the registration link again. 3rd of October, you will have to register using the Google form if you have to take part in evaluation and table topics contest. Second is regarding the membership renewal. For the members who haven't renewed for the term October 23 to March 24, please do so by the 28th of September, so that our treasurer can remit the fees to Toastmasters International by the 30th of September. With that, we have the awards. The best table topic speaker award for this evening goes to the returning Toastmaster Sureka. The best auxiliary role taker award goes to our Remedian Toastmaster Bhavna. The best role taker award for this evening goes to our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Lalit Dhanush. The best Evaluator Award goes to our immediate past president, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. And the best speaker award goes to, I'll give you a hint, it's a DTM. DTM Vijayanand. DTM Vijayanand, can you please come back to collect one more moment for the best speaker? Last but not the least, I would like to thank our general evaluator again for coming back and evaluating our session and providing us inputs. Can we please have you on stage for a small token of appreciation? This book is written by our own member, Toastmaster Ganesh Pai. With that, before I adjourn the meeting, we have delicious snacks served near the door. So please feel free to enjoy the snacks on your way out. Thanks for staying back. You know it's late, but again it was worth the wait. I now adjourn meeting number 1395 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club.